Hello, hello, and welcome and good morning to Sunday's Live. Good morning, Syl.
Brilliant. Good morning, Beena. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Grain, and good morning to anyone who is going to watch us live or recorded. Today is Sunday. For me, it's a bit relaxed and chill kind of a day. Uh, to actually kind of like, okay, it is to recollect your energy and started working from Monday. This is how Sir was sharing a different perspective on it, and that was really interesting. But of course, this is not the topic of the day. So at some point in future, we will discuss that. How people need to shift their perspective for starting their week. Anyway, so today's thought, I actually didn't had any thought, completely no thought at all. Yes, I'm blessed with this thing
Wow.
also that sometimes no thought, nothing, which is good
Uh,
because then you start actually connecting to what you already have. It's not like, okay, it is not coming in the forefront of your consciousness, but it doesn't mean that you don't have anything at all. We can always connect to what we already have, and it is existing. It is in our subconscious or it is in our consciousness, but it is not coming in the forefront. And that only can happen, at least this is my understanding. This can only happen when you make it your own, when any awareness, when you make it your own by effort, by deliberateness. By effort I just mean that, okay, by deliberate, by being deliberate. When you do that, and when you really try to think it through to the end, when you do the capital R reading, and when you do the practice of capital H hearing, then this thing become innate to you. Then you don't need any book reference, then you don't need any memorization, then you don't need any, oh yes, okay, now I'm going to say that. No practice, nothing, you don't need anything, and you can be as spontaneous in your life. It is actually like your mental muscle memory, building up your mental muscle memory.
yes. Yes.
And this is what I'm getting this opportunity to practice every single day almost. And I love this because, like right now, I told you in the beginning that I don't have any thought at all. If this is what I was saying. By thought, it was actually no idea at all, which is a
Right.
common thing, which is a usual thing for me. But still, I can talk about this thing, and it's not a random rambling or something. I know what I'm saying
Yeah.
because I have been thinking about this at some point, not in this direct way, not in this way, but when you have a connected, well developed awareness, then nothing actually can be difficult for you. Any type of interaction. I had an opportunity again today when I had to meet someone who was completely unknown, and I really practice a lot of things into that meeting with, okay, my family and everyone. We all were there, and I was practicing
Wow.
my understanding of way-of-impeccability into that. Like, okay, practicing capital diplomacy also, which is not part of way-of-impeccability, but the Moreness-Project. And also being adamant about being appropriate is the most crucial thing. The center column, the above and beyond, and everything. This is this is the real theme. Appropriateness needs to be a theme in every, of course, situation, and that was it. Because I allow them and let them start, and then of course when they start talking about, they were asking questions, and then and of course my as a host, it was my responsibility to try to make them comfortable and at ease, and then of course let them share what they want to share. And that environment actually provides them that comfort, so that they were asking questions with natural curiosity, not the meanness of curiosity, but just natural in earnest curiosity that, okay, oh, yeah, so what about this, what about that. And I realized that when you provide someone a comfortable, protected environment, complete capital F freedom, with freedom, people do bring out their moreness. and they really get curious about bigger things in life. And this is what, of course, I was experiencing in the sessions with Syl, for with other people and participants. When they were coming, Syl was providing them that safe, comfortable, and open environment, really an open space for them. And no matter you Syl was saying it deliberately, vocally, verbally, in words or not, the subconscious and the consciousness catch that immediately, that this space is safe for me. This is in our instinct. We can recognize protected, safe, and free environment like this. Yes, this is another talk that we don't have that very often. That's why it is always there. Immediately you will catch it. So to experience that, of course, one can join the sessions, and then they can experience that how it is different from other experiences. So that was again some perks of some innate, but like the kind of advantages and benefits, actually not advantages, benefits of Way of Impeccability and the Moreness-Project for me.
Wonderful. In other words, for me, if I hear you to do a repeat back here, you are
Yes,
saying that you develop the ability to be in a pure response to appropriateness mode.
yes,
That's fantastic.
yes,
And it's
yes,
a huge deal. It's a huge deal. The ability to know and be able to fully trust that you will be able to respond as in
yes,
the moment, just like that.
yes,
Fantastic. All right, let's continue with our reading. We've been for last couple of days, most of this last week now. We were going through the reading of this chapter 22, uh, where Lemo asks Biella a question, which essentially means, how do I live? How do I be? And Biella responds with a very comprehensive, very detailed response, which is sharing almost the entirety of Moreness-Living and the Moreness paradigm living. This is an incredible response. There's so much to it. And Biella even says it could be a whole book. It's a really great conversation. But the chapter isn't finished because the first half of it is her response. But now the second half, Biella comments on great conversations, deep conversations themselves. And so it's not only is the conversation shared, it's not just a response, but there's replies from Limo and then further discussion, etc. So it's a conversation, even though it's very one-sided, doesn't matter, it's still a conversation. But now we get into into a repeat back takeaway of the conversation itself, which is very excellent and very different and very unusual and very cool. All right, going to screen share and then we continue with this second
yes,
part of long
yes.
fan.
And today you have to read, sir.
Say that again.
Today you have to read.
All right, all right, all right. I shall.
Thank you.
All right, no problem. All
Oh
right.
yes, of course it's a fun. It's not a problem at all.
Yeah,
But I'm having this problem. That's why
yeah, no
I'm
problem. No.
passing on this opportunity to you, Sil.
Yeah, exactly, exactly, exactly. A few comments on the entirety of my interaction with Limo and interactions in general. I often see posts and comments welcoming or inviting great conversation, but seldom see posts of such, or posts which define or delineate what exactly the poster believes great conversations to be. I have had many great conversations. This one with Limo is no exception. It started with a simple, earnest question, a sincere desire to know and explore, prompting a lengthy response from me as the topic is interconnected to so much, indeed, interconnected to the all of everything. But in terms of great conversations, what I particularly like, appreciate, value, and derive value from is the mechanism of repeating back the salient point, repeat, and then providing commentary and perspective. It is a fantastic mechanism and to me essential in great conversation. It allows for understanding of what has been understood, allows for the appreciation of specifically what in a what in a conversation connected and how it connected. Let me read that again. It allows for understanding of what is being understood, allows for the appreciation of specifically what in a conversation connected and how it connected. This is very important. It's very, very important. Whether there was agreement or not is irrelevant. Understanding is the issue. Checking and verifying that understanding. It's knowing why exactly something impacted and in which way it impacted and what specifically it was that triggered the impact that makes a difference. And what specifically it was which triggered the impact that makes a difference. This is huge to me in great conversation. Often there is simply a response, mostly positive, without elaboration, and that means nothing at all. Why exactly it was positive makes all the difference. It allows the communication to not only be verified as feedback, but it extends the perspective, adding more. Again, whether they are in agreement or not is irrelevant. Either way is beneficial to all involved. Feedback via takeaways and repeatbacks are to me essential ingredients to great conversation. Of course, they're also gifts of energy and attention. In this, Limo has my extreme gratitude and appreciation. Great conversations to me are explorations. It does not really matter how we start or where we start. I feel my answers to any questions I am asked are always such start. The key is to take what is said and go into it, plumb the depths of the perspectives of it, bend it, stretch, twist and turn, relate, disagree, look for the contrary, what supports and refutes. This process of exploration leads to a deeper understanding via additional perspective and deeper understanding in itself. It's very important. Also, it leads us to connect to what matters to us. It leads to resolution of a point or issue or perspective through a thorough understanding of all the aspects involved. To arrive at this endpoint, we often have to muddle along initially. That's the exploration part. We have to overcome the communication issues which inevitably arise. Communication is a haphazard business. We believe we speak the same language, but when it comes to abstract concepts, deeper issues and perspectives, what we privately hold and believe is mostly quite different to that of others. So we have to persevere past the initial stages. We have to give back our interpretations and understandings, thus our method. Lay out our definitions and concepts. Allow for the process to change and adapt. Oh, allow for the process of change and adaptation. Adaptation. Allow for the process of change and adaptation. Above all, make allowance for the haphazardness of communication. It's an inexact business. Only through persevering do we come to that space where we truly communicate and share. It's the most glorious place to adventure through our conversational exploring. It's the most glorious place to adventure through our conversational exploring. This particular great conversation is unusually clear and fluid. Not at first. Not the first. Limo and I have had many great conversations. Most prior to this involved that exploration and perseverance I am so appreciative of. It enabled us to get to a point of conversation where, wow, where meaningfulness can be exchanged easily. So awesome. There's more. one moment, let me get some water. Does all that make sense, Beena? Beena?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Wow, my throat just got very dry there all of a sudden. Not sure why.
Earnestness is extremely powerful.
Yes, yes.
I'm just making it a general thing, not specific to Limo here. I'm just reading it again. Like earnestness is extremely powerful. It
Yes,
affects us and draws out everything that's relevant.
yeah,
Earnestness is a powerful force.
yeah. It's a real force, yes.
Yes.
It's amazing when we understand these forces of the world and
Yes.
earnestness. An incredible force. They're really incredible. Right, here's the takeaways now. Limo, did you write all this in response to my questions? Or was part of this past answers? Awesome content. Awesome. I have pulled out a few quotes that are most appropriate for me right now. Wow, still reading Biella. It was all written in response to you, Limo. Your earnestness is extremely powerful. It affects me and draws out everything that's relevant. Earnestness is a powerful force. On me, especially so. Wow. Limo, usually simply aligning with the change that is being forced on us, is the simplest and most energy efficient way to respond. So cool, as in just going with the flow, not judging in any way, allowing it to be what it must be, and observing our response. Very significant. Yeah, for just an audio point of view, uh, Limo is pulling out the quote, right? Uh,
Mhm.
still, quote, as long as self-importance, ego goals are important to us, we are doomed to not being able to be free. We will always be slaves to others, society, culture, advertising, etc. Slaves to ego, approval, and attention. Limo responds, this is such a big one for me. I keep coming back to my responses made from the ego, which also includes issues of personal security, not wanting to rock the boat. But then you said this. Another quote from Biella. If our motivations are attuned to those life goals, well, then we start to see something incredible. We see a continuous stream of gifts coming our way. We start to see that all circumstances have what we need and want. We see life itself is geared to furthering those life goals. So really, in the end, all that's required is to avail ourselves of the gifts that are continuously coming our way. Indeed, our circumstances themselves are a gift in this. Our circumstance, our circumstances have in them what we need. All we have to do again is avail ourselves of the gift. Limo responds to this quote that you pulled. And that was so meaningful to me. Thank you. As yes, every single little thing that happens is such a gift, even our responses to it, and reflections upon it later in viewing how, in the bigger picture, it is another clue about you, about my level of consciousness. Another quote that Limo pulled from another Biella quote. Then it leads us to the opposite application of this. We start by enjoying with fun and pleasure, and we then look outside of the fun and pleasure and enjoyment for the rest. So important to just enjoy it. And I can relate to that and see it happening within me in ways that appear sometimes as so odd and inappropriate to others. Even, for example, my tendency to get giddy and silly and laugh inappropriate. like the other night. My husband was in emergency in hospital for so long. And as he lay there in the bed, all hooked up to wires and stuff, it all looked so odd to me, and I got giddy at the absurdity and got giddy about it. And he misunderstood and felt I was laughing at him and being discompassionate, which made me even more giddy. That has happened to me before, as I just want to laugh at life's circumstances when others feel I should be serious. I I got that way at my own mother's funeral as well. Then I feel, what is wrong with me? And that I would be spontaneously act so inappropriately. And really, it is inappropriate, but for some reason it just comes out that way odd. I don't think it's odd. Uh, I don't think it's oddly Mo. I think it's you responding to the preposterousness and the ridiculousness of life. Most appropriate. Limo pulls another quote from Biella. To me, honest inner voice is actually seen externally in the circumstances we find ourselves in. Limo responds to this. This is very profound and difficult when one spends too much time alone, as there is little external feedback when one is not with others, and then one is left with only routine. I am beginning to think I hide in my comfortable self in my alone. Some of it is force of circumstance. Yes. Working at home alone in my office, but even when I worked outside, I hid in my office. Wait, I just hid in there to avoid the outside world and yeah, most excellently most. Love the takeaways that put so help. I am still in conversation here, so I will give it my full attention later. Looking forward to doing so. Love, love that there is more coming. Love the dancing dot. That's indicating more to come. Love I want to reverse the order, put quote backs first because then it makes sense, right? You gave the quote backs and then the takeaways responding. Yes, you with me, Beena? Makes it more connectable. Lovely, because this is an important mechanism that Limo was using, which he's learned from Biella. Uh, because in their previous conversations, Biella would do this. She'd, she'd pull something that Limo had said, a quote back, in other words. You're repeating it back to the person, and then you provide the takeaway on it. It is a fantastic mechanism because now the we know what we're talking about, right? Especially if it's through a text conversation. It's kind of hard to do in verbal conversation, but text conversations very, very, very powerful. But the quote backs come first, and then another quote back from Limo, and that's what I need to call it here. Quote back, Limo, quote back. Thus, when it comes to action, I use force of circumstance as my guide. If I am forced to act, then it removes the decision making from me and things simplify. When we feel compelled to act, it usually means our actions are ones we are happy to assume responsibility for. This is again where character comes into play. Where character building, with character building comes assuming responsibility for our actions. When we assume full responsibility, it means we are prepared to die as a result of our actions. This extends all the way to the act of choosing to continue living itself. Limo says, wow, if only I could adopt this fully and not forget it so easily after reading it here, that would be so awesome. To look at everyone, every thought, everything in this life would snap one into consciousness in any moment, just as that are those that face the threat of real death often have had that change of heart to take life as seriously, or that heightened awareness while climbing rocks. Yes, if one looks at life, decision, as facing death, how clear it becomes. how clear it becomes how to act appropriately. Very powerful, must be. Wow, 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 wow. Now, this year it was changed, right? In Biella's response, right? About we are prepared to die as a result of our actions. I think so, but it doesn't matter. It makes the point. Another quote back uh, from Biella. Force of circumstance is thus the expression of that self that knows without knowing. Our ego self, conscious self, is an infant awareness, one that is trying to know without knowing. This was that's very cool. Heart emoticon, done. Very, very cool, Biella. You must post that one on your column so I and others can access it in an easier way later, rather than having to sift through this chat window. Smiling emoticon. Thank you. Art emoticon. Brilliant. I am struggling with my character mostly right now, I would say. My integrity and character has come up for me and I will write down why as it comes through here. Yeah. Excellent, 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 Limo. Looking forward to reading. You're a real friend, Limo. I truly hope you know this. Interactions to me with real friends transcend time. We cannot interact for long periods, and it makes no difference because in real friendships there are no expectations and no obligations. My heart. Haven't read your response yet. Just responding real quick to your last message. Wow, Limo. Wow. Well, that means so much to me, Biella. Thank you. I am so glad to call you friend. Friend. It's a big deal. It's a very big deal. Real friendship. Love real friendship. They are huge. And I think there's a bit more. Pure after Biella. Yay, me too. Oh, and reflections upon it later in viewing how in the bigger picture it is another clue about you, about my level of consciousness. That's a quote back. Biella quoting back Limo to Limo. Love this, Ultimo to God. And another quote back from Biella this time on Limo. That has happened to me before, and I just want to laugh at life circumstances when I feel I should be serious. In inverted commas. So important this. If we can develop the ability to laugh in any circumstance, then we are well on our way to freedom. Wow, what a statement. If we can develop the ability to laugh in any circumstance, then we are well on our way to capital F freedom. The key is to be able to do it without reservation. Our internal attitude and perspective on our own laughter is the most influential aspect of how it is taken up by others. If we are aware, it is our own reactions. If we are aware, it is our own reactions which mostly determine how our laughter is taken by others. It makes all the difference. If we laugh freely, laugh without judgment, without awkwardness or reservation, and most important, without guilt or apology, then our laughter is simply pure. It becomes capital L. It is an epitome to be the strive for when the laughter comes in seemingly inappropriate circumstances and we see the gift of it and go with it and learn and practice to laugh freely and purely, get to that point where our laugh is a gift to the world, or it becomes a positive counter-infection to the infectious disease of negativity or to sadness in any form. Ah, yeah, that's very, very powerful, right, Beena? Well, key to understand, the key is to understand laughter can be an expression of joy, an expression of pure positivity, an expression of goodness. We have to learn to laugh in that way. We have to learn to laugh purely. It's very powerful. To completely disassociate our pure laughter from any mockery or derision. Disconnect our pure laughter from any implied critique or inference. Pure laughter is simply an expression of joy, of goodness, of positivity. And in what are stressful situations, particularly post-stress, there are expressions of everything being right in the world. Our pure laughter becomes a means for resetting the world. Laughter, thus expressed, becomes a magnificent way of saying, it's all okay, no worries, it's all good. Ah, 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 ah. When we are prompted by the universe to respond with this laughter, it is where the third leg of the personal triangle of action, character, and strategy comes. Oh, oh, wow. Personal triangle of abstraction, character, and strategy come into play. Pure laughter is not yet part of the common perception and understanding. It is something new for most people. So when we engage in pure laughter, it behooves us to add a verbal qualifier, something along the lines of, I don't mean to be inappropriate. My laughter is one of joy, the joy of life, of things being okay. It is a laughter of positivity and optimism. It's an expression of the absurdity of life, how fleeting it is, and a reminder to myself the most to enjoy every precious. Of course, not that long to me, but to express those sentiments as appropriate, to simply inform and share our underlying perspective. When the laughter is then viewed within this new context, all ideas of inappropriateness vanish. However, if we have laughed purely in the first place, if our laughter was free from any internal contradiction, reservations, or doubts as to its appropriateness, then we will transmit the appropriateness. We will cue those involved that there are different ways to react. We don't have to always react and behave according to the narrow dictates of supposed to. No, don't. There are many ways of being. There are many ways. If we proceed with confidence and self-assurance without doubt, we will communicate these new ways. It is part of the path of independence of being. Practicing pure laughter is a magnificent tool for fostering and strengthening our personal independence. It is a most awesome and excellent gift, the gift of love. It is a forerunner to true joy, the joy of simply existing. That joy is also a power. And earnestness is a power. Now we're adding joy as a power. That joy is also a power, capital P power. For when we can be joyful no matter what is transpiring around us, we are able to truly be free. We become beyond influence. Wow. We have arrived at complete choice of response, a most sophisticated and wonderfully expansive vista from which our choices are determined by our ethics, by our personal predilection, and by our true choices. And this all starts with the inordinate gift of pure love, the gift of joy, connecting to deeper self. Another quote back from Limo to Limo. Difficult when one spends too much time alone, as there is little external feedback, when one is not with others and then one is left alone. Biella responds, I have found that to maintain the connection to the world, all I need is some sort of random generator. Anything will do. TV, radio, social media, nature. This is where abstraction comes in. If we have viewed that connection to the world from an abstract perspective, to see the ads, songs, posts, or whatever as symbolic representations, it opens up a whole new world from which to connect to ourselves. Wow, 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 wow. If we view that connection to the world from an abstract perspective, to see the ads, songs, posts, nature sounds, or whatever as symbolic representation, it opens up a whole new world from which to connect to ourselves. Wow, 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 wow. Yeah, that yeah. This is very powerful. This abstract perspective. For instance, there's a hardware store that has the slogan, "Never stop improving." We are immersed in our work ourselves, and this comes up and is viewed in the abstract. This is a marvelous reminder of what we are doing in our lives overall. Yeah, that's what we're doing. This is a way of impeccability. Likewise, when we perceive those inputs and connections symbolically, and we are at a crossroads internally, we tend to hear and notice that which resonates with our deeper self. It's the most marvelous. We can enjoy our innate ability to pattern recognition. Wow, wow, wow. We can employ our innate ability for pattern recognition so we notice what has meaning. It's fantastic. Then what we notice inevitably is a pathway to our deeper self. For symbol and metaphor is the language of the deeper self. It has to be. It has to be. Matters are too vast and complex in the deeper self for simple words. There are many, many ways in which we can connect to our inner voice. The key is abstract mindset, to connect to everything via symbol and metaphor, to abstract everything. Then we get to see the meaning and purpose. Then we get to connect to ourselves. Yeah. It is a most exhilarating affair. For now, we suddenly have access to a treasure trove of magic, the magic of ourselves. Connect to ourself, not self. The magic of ourself. Again, this is that capital S self. Yes, the deeper self. Application. Huh. Another quote back by Biella of Limo to Limo. Quote back. I am beginning to think I hide in my comfortable self in my alone. Biella responds. Aha. To me, this is where the most excellent value of unrelenting positivity comes into it. If there is an insistence on positivity, then we become predisposed to always look for positive explanations, to expect positivity no matter what. Now, please tell me why being alone isn't the most excellent thing for you. I suspect you need time to apply all you have learned, to integrate it into yourself, to make it you. Ah, oh, yes, right? To practice the new ways of being, to reflect and ponder. Also, I like this one coming here. Sorry, I'm amused. I saw it ahead of reading, to reflect and ponder. Also, like a caterpillar, you need a cocoon from within which you can undergo your transformation. For assuredly you are transformed. Wow. And without application, it's all meaningless. Also, I love this idea. You know, Lemo sees this being alone as a negative. Yana says, but wait, don't you need to cocoon in order to transform into the butterfly? Also, when on a spiritual path, there comes a time when we are no longer part of the common world. Beena. Also, when on a spiritual path, there comes a time when we are no longer part of the common world. Beena. Okay. You hearing this, Beena? Beena? Where'd you go? Are you here, Beena? Okay. All right. Also, when on a spiritual path, there comes a time when we are no longer part of the common world. We have to know this, to understand we are no longer the people we were. Wow. Yeah. We have to know this. We are no longer the people we were. We have to know this, that we are the people we were. We no longer have so much in common with others that aren't on similar paths. Everyone has their own path they follow in their own time. There was a time when you weren't on a path, and you were most likely not comfortable or appropriate being in the company of those who were. It is just the way of things. We change, we transition, and what was appropriate is no longer so. The force of circumstance that has put you into being alone is most excellent as I see it. It enables the transition. Yes. It allows for new friends and new ways of being, and for separation from that which is no longer appropriate to your new way of being. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, new way of being. Traversing our path. Things change. It is the way of things. We either make peace with it and change, or we get stuck. This making peace with it. It's a very powerful point. Making peace with it. It's a concept, and it's a higher part of the other power. And change, or we get stuck. And if we pay attention to miserable people, we inevitably see those who resist change, those who are stuck. Now, when we learn to let go, not to cling to what was, to embrace the changes, and to not feel guilty for moving on to the next phase of our lives, then we, of course, are taking the necessary towards our freedom and independence. Very important. Very important. Let's see. Somebody's messaging me. I wonder if it's Beena. Oh, Norma. It's all right, Norma. Uh, yes, I'm reading Norma, so I'm not seeing the comment. Hello, Norma. Hello, Norma. Hello, Norma. Sorry, Norma. I got all involved here. And see, none of the comments are showing. Yeah, let me see if they're showing in the recent. Yes. Hello, you two. Sound a bit staccato. Yeah, maybe. I'll catch it later. Can be the ongoing print. This is so true, but always seems unaware. Yes, yes. How symbolic. When we look at everything, I'll respond. Let me finish the reading through it all, and then I'll respond to you. Know. Don't think you're linking or seeing me. No, I wasn't seeing it because I was busy reading there. And I think Beena's dropped. Otherwise, Beena would let me know and tell me. Anyway, traversing our path. Uh, Things change. It is the way of things. We either make peace with it and change, or we get stuck. And if we pay attention to miserable people, we inevitably see those who resist change, those who are stuck. When we learn to let go, to not cling to what was, to embrace the changes, and to not feel guilty for moving on to the next phase of our life, then we are, of course, taking the necessary steps towards our freedom and independence. When we mature enough to realize we are not beholden to anyone, we are not beholden to anyone, we are not obligated to anyone, we have no need whatsoever to maintain any status quo. If anyone truly has your well-being at heart, they will wish you well on your voyage of discovery and change. If they happen to not be part of your new journey, if they truly love you or not, because they will be most happy with the knowledge you are doing and what is right for you. Uh, they will not mind because they will be most happy with the knowledge you are doing what is right for you. In the end, if we are true to the grand scheme of things, that's all we can do. We have to unhook from expectations and obligations and the guilt, complications, and limitations which stem from those. Very important. Uh, this includes letting go of the past and unhooking from doing so without any self-recrimination or guilt. It is imperative, and it is, of course, also most appropriate. If we can no longer belong in the past, then it is most inappropriate to linger and will be a disservice to all who are there. Uh, leveraging our inner self. A quote from a key A. It takes time to become a flutterby. Part of the process is necessary as a learning. A beautiful quote actually. Death. The Biella continues. Death is a most excellent advisor indeed. Wow. And okay, I will post it. Yes, it has been a most excellent conversation. Love it the most. Love you too. Unrelenting positivity has to apply to ourselves as well. I is more than one. That's such a powerful, powerful, powerful understanding. I is more than one. Indeed, we tend to think of I as singular, but it's not. We have many selves. We have to be compassionate towards them and unrelentingly positive. Ourselves are a function and expression of our life purpose, of our intent. If our intent is anything less than positive, well, then we run the risk of manifesting less than positive behavior and so it's the expectations, assumptions, beliefs, etc. about ourselves which are the key to this manifestation, materializing. Yeah. Now, that doesn't mean we will have all the answers, but it means our intent is pure. And if we apply that unrelenting positivity to our intent, then all we are left with is trust. Trust it will work out. We have to trust it will work out. And from our unrelenting positivity, this is the only thought and perspective and belief we could possibly have. It is the path to removing doubt, to getting to the point of materializing the unrelenting positivity. It is the path to removing doubt and getting to the point of materializing the unrelenting positivity. But first, it has to become the habit of habit. Unrelenting positivity has to become the only way of being we apply. Wow, wow, yeah, wow, 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 wow. That's huge. Unrelenting positivity has become the only way of being we apply. A quote from the young man. The key to unrelenting positivity is to assume full and complete 100% responsibility for our own state of being. We alone are the determinants of how we feel and behave. No one else. How they are and how they behave makes no difference at all in the face of unrelenting positivity. With unrelenting positivity, we always find a way to make whatever comes into something good and positive. Always, no matter what. Yeah, I don't know. A whole bunch of hashtags, many hashtags for this year. Yeah, trust that things will all work out. You have to trust that things will work out positive. Very, very, very. Beena, are you still here? Let's see. Let's see. No, see, Beena's dropped. That's a pity. All right. So symbolically, when we start to look at, just take the radio, just and whatever is there, don't hear it as the literal point that they are making. Hear it as symbolic. In other words, it represents something. So let's say the radio singing and talking about, I don't know. Well, again, a hardware ad. They're talking about building. Now, they're talking about building your house very literally. Yes? But if you take building your house symbolically, what would that mean to you, Norma? I'm going to go to Facebook so I can see your responses here. Well, those do show me the responses, Norma. So I do see it there in real time. On Facebook, not so much. So I do connect you. I'm sorry I missed you earlier, but I was immersed in the reading. Normally Beena's reading and I can respond to the comments. That's why I didn't see. So what do you think building your house means symbolically? Yeah. If you listen, you hear that on the radio. Yeah, it's a hardware store advertising something. Yeah, Home Depot or Ace Hardware, or whatever. Well, that's in America. I don't know what the hardware chains are in England. I think maybe Home Depot might be there. Anyway, if you hear this, building your house, what would that mean to you in a symbolic way, Norma? Oh, maybe Norma's not there. Oh, sorry, Norma. I feel bad now. I feel bad. I'll give it a few moments. This article, I keep calling it an article, this chapter. I guess it's an article. This chapter is so huge. It is so huge. This one chapter can be the entire representation of the book. Now it makes me wonder to either put this chapter in the beginning or the end instead of in the middle where it is now. Well, I like this end chapter, which is a question asked from a very, very, very dear friend who I love very much. A very powerful question. This dear friend said, "What do you think happens when we die?" Is this a good question, Grin? Yeah. Dear NB, dear most important. This this just gives me unending joy. Dear NB, dear most important. And you ask a most important question. Yeah, it is a question to note well, not the bene, what that stands for in that. Anyway, I think that's a good ending question. So that makes this uh, again, if you put it in the beginning, I don't know, then whatever comes afterwards is like maybe a bit lessened. You know what I mean? I'll just leave it. I'll just leave it. These things had their own natural order, and it came about, and I'm going to trust that. I did move this question to the beginning one. I don't remember what was the original beginning one, but because I chopped these in half, from the entire flow of there were 75 or 76 questions or responses, and so I did change that a little. All right. Where you, Norma? Where you, Norma? Where you, Norma? Where you, Norma? I want to know what, building your house means symbolically to you. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Norma, Norma, in the context of of everything here, I think you probably dropped off as well, same like Beena. And oh yeah, I'm a little low energy, Norma. That's why I'm sounding a bit staccato. Also, I'm trying something different with these noise cancelling headsets. I have them on. Normally, I have it a little off my ear, so I can hear myself. Yeah, but when you have these noise cancelling headsets, it bounces the sound around inside you. So I can speak a lot softer, and it sounds very loud to me in my ears. You can cup your hands over your ears, and then you see how. Yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah, I'm not changing anything. I didn't mean to change it. It's just the way things come. No, no, no. Love the comments. Um, I no, Bina is okay. Yeah, yeah. It just the communication dropped, and then I was all on my own. So it's just the nature of things, Norma. I don't know if you're still listening or not. I'm responding to you. It's just stuff happens. That's all. Just stuff happens. That's all. So all is good, Norma. All is good. It's just, stuff happens. Also circumstance. Also circumstance in its own peculiar way. All is good, Norma. All is good. Lovely, Norma. Sorry I missed your comments there. Very much so. I do love your comments. I do love your comments. I don't think you're still there because I was asking um about how you would regard build your house in a symbolic way. Yeah. Let me refresh this too. Nothing seems to be refreshing. I will see in a moment. We'll see in a moment. Anyway, Norma, if you're not here live anymore, well, don't get the problem. Um, yeah, see, it doesn't show me any. Oh, it doesn't show the old comments. I guess. So there are no new ones. All right. On that note, then I think I'm going to end early. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Because I mean, I want to discuss this with Beena, and I like going over it with her, and also with the comments now. It seems that my comments aren't coming through in real time either. So everything seems to be a bit messed up today, but it's okay, Norma. It just means that we're going to rest a little bit extra. Just the universe. But I think some rest is kind of important. All right. So on that note, I'm going to end the live, and we'll continue tomorrow. Though we'll continue tomorrow. Anyway, it's a good point to end on that chapter because it's such a powerful. All right. All right. Bye bye. Bye bye, Norma. Bye bye. Bye bye, Norma. Thank you, Beena, for being here earlier. Sorry you couldn't be here. And thank anyone else.